You want to set up your Sawmill for diesel drip? I'm going to show you how real quick, run you through how to set up almost any Sawmill for a diesel drip. So this is just my opinion, so don't take it as a fact, but we're going to go over all the pluses and the minuses of diesel drip. So this is your wood-mizer tank that's on your LT35, and it gravity feeds water down to your blade. This is the original jug wood-mizer. This valve's been replaced. I just put a garden hose fitting on there. They're cheap. It screws right over the original cap on the wood-mizer. And then all of this is sealed tight, airtight, and all these fittings come down to this little bitty hose. I replaced the wood-mizer hose, and I placed a little bitty, probably 1/4-inch hose in there. Runs the same path as the wood-mizer's water does for your gravity feed system if you're running water. And then it goes behind the motor, comes out here, and I've just zip tied it to the cables that run to your debarker and your alternator. And then this loops around here. All this is airtight still to right here. It's all still airtight, watertight, no drips, no leaks. So from here to the tank has to be airtight. And then this is just a piece of valve from the original wood-mizer. Goes right over your needle valve with the sight window in it, so you can see how fast it's dripping. And then this is not airtight, and this is not airtight. These both move. And then this fitting goes right down into the regular drip for your water and drips right on your blade. With the valve shut off in the tank, I can open this up and I'll get like a few drips out of it, but it won't do anything because it's all airtight. From here back is airtight, so it won't come out. You have to turn on the valve over here for the tank, and now it'll just drip out. See, now it's just dripping out way too fast. Way too fast. Okay, so you turn that off so we're not dripping diesel everywhere. And we just barely turn this on. This little needle valve just makes it come out 1,000, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1. Okay, a little bit faster. 1,000, 2. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 1,000. This might be a little fast. That's every second. You need it about once every 2 seconds. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Hang it. But once you get it dialed in, that's it. You just leave it there. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 1,000, 2, 1,000. And there you go. That's as fast as you need to drip that diesel on your blade. That's it. That'll get you through all your hardwoods, 90% of your pine. There'll be no pitch buildup on your blade from any hardwoods or pine. The only time I run it any faster than that is if there's a lot of sap in it. You get a real sappy log, you'll notice a little buildup on your blade. You can run it just a little bit faster. Dry oak log, a dry locust log, or dry hickory log or something, and you can run it a little bit faster just to keep the blade cool. Well, the first way to know that you're dripping it fast enough is there's no buildup on your blade. You should have absolutely no sap on your blade. The second way is after you get down to the end of the log, end of a 16-foot log, shut your blade off, obviously shut your blade off, and then just take your fingers and put it right on your blade. And you should be able to leave your fingers there, and it should be warm, not hot. It should never be hot coming out the end of your log. If your blade's hot coming out the end of your log and you're running diesel drip, then your blade's dull or your belts are loose or something's wrong with your blade. You open up the doors and here's your belt. That's how loose it's supposed to be. It still has plenty of belt left on there. The first thing people are going to say is your diesel drip's going to ruin your rubber. Diesel eats rubber. Done. They're in the story. I'm not putting it on there. Diesel eats rubber. These belts are changed at 400 hours. Recommended by a wood-mizer, change at 400 hours. These have 350 hours on them right now, and I've still got plenty. There's no need to change them. So I don't think the diesel drip is eating my belts any. But if you're still of the opinion that diesel drip is eating your belts, they're $15 a piece. That belt right there is $15 a piece. That belt right there is $30. So maybe 35. So you got 30, 15, and 15, $60, 65, $70 even. What you have saved is this blade is not getting hot. So that means it's not getting dull as quick as with your water. It's going through the wood easier. There's no buildup on it. There's no stopping for buildup. And it's cooler than if you were running water, Dawn, Pine Sol, or any of that, or windshield washer fluid. Even if you're spending $65 to replace these belts early, you're saving that amount of money in the blades from sharpening them and them getting hot. That's my opinion. If you're running water, go look at your chute and tell me your sawdust just falls out of there like that. It's when you're running water, this is all clogged up with a sawdust ball right here. This chute is all clogged up with a sawdust ball. This sawdust is just caked on these wheels. And it's all caked under this belt. It's all caked on these belts. That's as dirty as that belt's ever been. This belt here has this little bitty tear in it right there, and but that's not from diesel. And even if it is, I'd replace it in a second if I thought it was. I think I'm gonna do one of these every year just to find out why people aren't running diesel drip this year. What the excuse is for this year. Put some diesel in your sawmill. You'll love it. I have not replaced these belts any sooner than you would normally, in my opinion. There's no buildup. There's no stopping and cleaning the buildup off your blades. There's no blade overheating, getting dull faster. I don't know what the recommended time to change these are, but I haven't changed out a set of rollers yet. What's the other one that they say about diesel? Diesel's bad for the environment. I can't stand it. The smell of it. It smells up my clothing. If you're smelling that diesel, that one drip every 2 seconds, if you're smelling that in the sawmill shed or on your clothes or in the sawdust, then you're running too much diesel. You don't need that much diesel. You should not smell diesel fuel in your sawmill shed if you're running diesel drip. You can go right now in the wagon full of sawdust, and you can smell that sawdust. You can smell it coming straight off the mill, and there's no diesel in it. It doesn't freeze in the winter. Diesel doesn't freeze in the winter. You can leave that tank full all year. You fill up that tank once every 6 months if you're running 8-10 hours a day, or once a year if you're running like I am. I need to do the math on that. I need to maybe sit down and do the math for you on that. Diesel drip is cheaper than water. I know nobody's going to believe me on that one, but here we go. You filled up I can run that tank out of water in an 8-10 hour day. I can run that tank out of water twice, a 5-gallon tank. I can run 10 gallons of water through that tank in a day, milling lumber, if it's water. Let's say I have the water hose right here. I don't have to carry it anywhere. And let's say I can just fill it right up. What's it take you to fill up that tank with water? You're just standing there waiting for it to fill up with water. A minute, twice a day. That's 2 minutes a day. 2 minutes a day. You're filling up that water tank. If you're running 8-10 hours. 2 minutes times 5 days a week equals 10 minutes. You already spent 10 minutes. All right, no big deal, right? 10 minutes times 52 weeks is 520 minutes. 520 minutes you just spent refilling that tank with water. 520 divided by 60 equals 8.66 hours a year you spent filling that water tank. 8.666 times however much you want to make, you want to make $45 an hour, equals $390. $390 a year you've just spent filling up that water tank with, if your water's free. My water's not free, I gotta pump it out of a well, gotta pay for the electricity. But not even counting that, just your time, $390 worth of your time to fill up that tank every year at $45 an hour. I know everybody's gonna say, well, I don't make that much, or it doesn't matter how much I make. It doesn't, that doesn't count the savings in your blades, that you save the life of your blade, that you save the more time you can go through that lumber because your blade is cool. Me, I spend, let's just say, pretend there's 5 gallons in there. I usually fill it up to 4-gallon mark, but let's just say there's 5 gallons in there. 5 times, and let's say diesel fuel is $5 a gallon, which it's not anymore, but so I spend $25 and it takes me 1 minute of my time. So I spend $25 on that tank of diesel fuel and you've spent $390 on your water tanks. Now, you can argue that any way you want, but it's not going to come out in the end where water's cheaper. And then you got to buy your Pine Sol and your dishwashing detergent and your, or whatever, dish soap, whatever you buy, Dawn or the cheap stuff. Anything you buy, you got to figure, add all that in, how many bottles of that you use a year. The next argument that anybody has is, well, wood-mizer or no sawmill company recommends diesel, except for Cook's. Cook's Sawmill recommends diesel because they don't have the rubber belts. Wood-mizer, any of these other sawmill companies, they cannot recommend diesel. There's a couple reasons. Wood-mizer can't recommend diesel because they sell a lube to put on your sawmill tank, put in your tank. 5 gallons of it costs you a lot of money. So they can't say recommend you use diesel because they sell a product that's better and more expensive and they're making money. The second reason that no sawmill company is going to tell you to run diesel is because once you do, then you're going to be saying, hey, this wore out my belts 50 hours earlier. Every sawmill fire in the country is going to be blamed on that diesel drip, and Wood-mizer doesn't want to be responsible for that, or any other sawmill company doesn't want to be responsible for that, can't be responsible for that. So they're not going to recommend diesel. They recommend you do water. or their product. Windshield washer fluid will ignite before diesel drip will ignite. Look it up. There's an MSDS sheet. Google's got an MSDS sheet. It'll tell you what temperature it ignites at. The diesel drip is not going to ignite. One drip of that through the log is not going to ignite. I've done Osage orange logs, and when you see the blade coming out of there, it's throwing sparks. It's sparking. And that's from just how hard that wood is. Or when you go through a dirty log, the dirt's sparking. And there's no possible way that that's going to ignite that diesel drip. That's just my opinion on diesel drip. If you have any other arguments about why you should not run diesel drip, I would love to hear them in the comments. I love to hear everybody's thing about using diesel drip. That it's whatever excuse you have, I just like to hear it. Why are you not running diesel drip? Thanks for watching. I got some new things up on the wall there. I don't know if you've seen them yet. New things on the Sawmill wall. We got some new ideas coming in 2025. Forget to like and subscribe.